What is happening, Gothamites? Kwing here, and tonight we are talking about the possible reveal of WB Games Montreal's next Batman game. Now, just keep in mind, this may not necessarily be the next Arkham game, but I have it on good authority that a Batman game is coming. Whether or not it will be teased this year, meaning you'll get the trailer at the PlayStation event or the video game award show in December, there is a Batman game in development, and Scott Synder does have some involvement with it. In fact, it was either tonight or yesterday. I don't remember because I just woke up a little while ago to do the whole Fortnite Batman thing. Hi, Zelda. Scott Synder revealed that the Court of Owls, to beware them. Now, he's already done his tenure at DC Comics, and there is no Court of Owls comic book or animated feature or movie that is coming. So the only other logical explanation would be something game-related, which they have not done a video game on the Court of Owls. And then, of course, WB Games Montreal, which I'm not going to show for copyright reasons, they lit up the bat signal on the side of their building, I believe, in Canada. And briefly, they flashed, I believe it's 4 or 5 symbols. Now, not every single one of the symbols showcased are from the Court of Owls. Some of them are based on different, we'll say, tribes or factions of the League of Shadows or the League of Assassins. You saw the Demon's Head there and some other stuff. So it could be a game about the battle between the Court of Owls and the League of Assassins, because there hasn't been an Arkham game that has established Batman meeting Ra's al Ghul. He just knows of him. If you remember Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, he talks about a past history which we've never seen in the games prior to Asylum or even Origins. They just kind of, pop up. Nor do we ever really get that scene with Talia and Batman in Metropolis that they mention, which happened a long time ago. So there's a lot of things that could happen with that. And the fact that Scott Synder revealed some type of involvement with Beware the Court of Owls, he knows something's up as well. And as I said before, it is Batman's 80th anniversary this year. It would make a lot of sense to celebrate that with a new Batman game, because it's already been close to 5 years since Arkham Knight. It's been 10 years since Arkham Asylum. And everybody's like, well, it would be great to get something from the Arkham Origins team. And to some extent, I agree with you on that. Arkham Origins, I won't say that it was an underrated game. It was okay. It was a nice little appetizer game before Arkham Knight came out, which is what you're seeing here. I've been playing Arkham Knight for so long. So I'm going to go with some other ideas, talking about some stuff, and then we'll dive into some questions. The stream will only last for about an hour and a half tonight because I have a ton of stuff to do. I have some work for Bandai Namco to do, and Hasbro, and things like that, as well as different press releases to read for different stuff that's coming out this week that I can't really talk about because I'm under NDA. It has nothing to do with Batman. Although the PlayStation event this week could do something with Batman. I haven't really read up on the PlayStation thing because I've been just so busy. I'm not sleeping much these days at all, being completely honest. And I also just did a Fortnite Batman stream, which can't believe I played Fortnite tonight, but I appreciate everybody involved who helped out with that, because I am the worst Fortnite player in the world, and the only reason I played it was because of Batman. And the character's kind of cool, but I'm going to be honest, it's a little weird to, play a game where Batman's using guns. I mean, it feels so weird, Oh my gosh. So, the whole Court of Owls thing is a long time coming. It's been teased in development for close to 3 to 4 years now. And so many different people coming forward and saying, well, it was canceled, or was in development, or, we scratched that and we went right to the Damian Wayne game, and then we canceled that, and then we had an Elseworlds Batman game, Gotham by Gaslight. We canceled that, and nobody's really known what Warner Brothers was doing with their most popular franchise. But with a lot of news happening with Batman recently, such as the Crisis on Infinite Earths, you've got the Robert Pattinson stuff, the casting has been mostly finalized, and they're going to make some casting announcemements. I believe it's in October, right around the Joker hype. Matt Reeves is going to make some type of announcements about the cast, like who's playing who. The characters we already know. It's based on The Long Halloween. It's going to be a trilogy based on The Long Halloween, The Dark Victory. From what I hear from some WB people, like at WB Entertainment or whatever you want to call the group that works with movies, I'm too tired to think. Robin will probably show up either at the end of the Batman, such as, or Alfred and Batman going to the circus, or the second movie will be based on Dark Victory. So it makes sense now to actually work a lot with prepping a Batman game to release in 2020. I don't think the game's going to come out this year. That would be amazing, but I don't see that happening. I think Batman's going to show up in a lot of cameo games besides Fortnite by the end of the year. Who knows? He could show up in, what's that other Battle Royale game? What's the name of that? The one that's coming to the Switch in October. Help me out, guys. Huh? Overwatch? Is that what it's called? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Overwatch is coming on the 15th of October, yeah. And if you guys are wondering why aren't you running around, it's like I'm trying to talk, so I have to just kind of keep my thing like this. Otherwise, I would just upload gameplay of me running around and beating stuff up. But since I'm talking, I need to, really cover my thought process. And then I'll open up the floor to you. We'll run around. I've got the tumbler in this Gotham. Also, I love this backdrop with the rain coming down. It just really helps out with some stuff. Personally, I wasn't expecting a Batman tease from the developer themselves. WB Games Montreal has been very cryptic the past couple years, so the fact that they actually teased that, yes, I really believe, along with Arkham Videos, that a Batman game is going to be announced sometime this year. Do I think it's coming out this year? No. That would be awesome, but I think it's going to compete with the Avengers game next year, which a lot of people are still on the offense about the Avengers game. I think it looks decent. I don't have any issue with it. I personally don't think WB Games Montreal can compete with an Avengers game, personally. I think you would need, Rocksteady for that. But to each his own. I always thought the gameplay of the Origins games were fun. I like the costumes. Some of my favorite skins from Origins was Nightfall, Gotham by Gaslight. They had some pretty cool skins. The story was just some of the arcs were a little weak, and some of the other issues they made. But as we've talked about before over the years, Rocksteady has made some pretty big issues, continuity-wise as well, such as getting the Robin thing correct and the Batgirl relationship, but the wrong Robin! They went with Tim Drake instead of Grayson because somebody messed some stuff up. They did partially their research, although a quick Wikipedia thing would have solved all those problems, but no, we don't know how to do our jobs very well. Same thing with the Arkham Origins guys. They thought that they could do some fun things with the canon. Paul Dini wasn't available, and some other Batman writers weren't available, so they just kind of did the best they could. Part of the story was really good, and part of it was just incredibly weak and lame. But I will tell you this. If Scott Synder is indeed involved with it, then we are looking at a very, very, very good Batman story. Probably right up there with Paul Dini's Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Although he only did part of City, if you guys remember that. He did the main game up until the point where Joker died. And then, because I don't remember if he wrote Joker dying or not. I think he only went up to the first two arcs. There's four. Wait, how many chapters are there in Arkham City? He didn't do the finale, and he didn't do the Harley Quinn's Revenge stuff. He didn't write those. He was at Marvel at that point. So somebody else finished the end for Arkham City, from what I hear. I haven't talked to Dini to confirm it because I don't really go to conventions that much anymore. So maybe one of these days I will. I wanted to go to New York Comic Con this year, but since the Power Ranger people aren't going, I'm not going to go. So if you guys didn't know, I work with Saban Brands as well. I've kind of branched out over the years. Although, I'm sorry, they're Hasbro now, but it's still Saban's Power Rangers. It gets confusing. And I will open the floor to questions if you guys have questions. You can shoot a super chat my way so I won't Miss Who You Are, or some of the mods can favorite some comments, and I'll get back to them when I can. But yeah, I believe there's some validity to, you know, this. The fact that WB Games Montreal was the one that teased it, that to me I find interesting. Scott Synder said something that's interesting. He's been very quiet about a lot of things, so that was kind of cool for him to say something. And the fact that he said, beware the Court of Owls, which, you know, is his creation. He created the Court of Owls. And as I said, there's no animated movie. There's no cartoon show in development. The cartoon show that I was told was in development was actually a Scooby-Doo cartoon show, which just released, and Kevin Conroy plays Batman in that, which is kind of interesting. So sometimes, you know, my information gets a little mixed. I was right that a, you know, animated Batman thing was coming to television, but it turns out it was a Scooby-Doo show where Batman is going to be a cameo character a couple episodes, and Wonder Woman's in it. Don't ask me how it works, but I saw the first episode with Batman in it. It was actually kind of funny. It wasn't too bad. They got Kevin Conroy to be Batman in it. And, you know, it was Scooby-Doo with Batman, and it was a little campy. It was kind of funny. There's this one scene where Fred is investigating Wayne, the Wayne study, and Batman is changing behind the bookcase like a nod to Adam West. And Fred, unaware, is pressing the Shakespeare head, and the door is opening up, and Batman's changing. And he has to frantically throw a batarang to, you know, close it while he's changing into his Batsuit. And it was actually the Batman model from the animated series, so that was kind of cool to see. But, I mean, you know, there's some campy aspects to that cartoon. The Batmobile in that show is the 60s Batmobile. But I will admit, I was a little bummed when I found out that the animated series that was being worked on is just like a team-up Scooby-Doo show with Batman appearing once in a while. But, oh well. At least I was right about another animated Batman show in development. If you want to watch it, it's on Boomerang's digital service, Cartoon Network Boomerang. And the first episode is, I believe it's called The Dark Knight, or something. I might get around to reviewing it. I don't know. I also have to post all my Titan stuff, too, because I've written up reviews for the Titan show, but I don't think I could get around to editing it, so I'm just going to do a podcast for it and get it up this week, give you guys, like, a recap of the first 3 episodes. Something like that. But yeah, honestly, people, I wasn't expecting this. I was hoping for an announcement for a Lego Batman collection, and then Warner Brothers did something completely different on Batman Day. They did a Steam sale for a Batman collection instead of releasing, like, an actual Batman collection. And I believe the Arkham collection is coming out in October, I think, for the PS4. And by January 2020, you guys will be able to download, if you don't have it already, the Earth 2 skin for Batman in this game. But he will be a pack-in DLC for people that buy the collection this October, I think. Although it might already be out in the UK right now. I don't know. I haven't talked to any of my friends across the pond recently. Guru Larry's very busy these days, and also he doesn't play Batman games, so I don't know. Oh, the Tumblr's fun to play. Especially how they got... Did you hear the tire skids? That's right from Batman Begins. Rocksteady is still one of my favorite devs because the attention to detail that they do to the sound, to the visuals, everything. So, you guys are probably wondering, what do I think the story will be about if Snyder's involved in some capacity? Well, I have some ideas, and I'll just go over my ideas for, you know, what I think the story for this Batman game will be about. I really don't think it's going to be Arkham. I think it's going to be a brand new Batman game that's going to start a franchise. There are some people at WB Games that I've spoken to a while ago that kind of, like, confirmed my suspicions with that they're not using the Arkham name anymore. Like, this game very well could be called Batman Beware the Court of Owls. There's things that they could play around with the timeline, but I think they kind of just want to end it with the way Arkham Knight was. I'm not saying that it can't be in the Arkham franchise, but I have a lot of, we'll say, discussions over the past 3 to 6 months where it sounds like they're leaning toward just Batman, something, not Batman Arkham. Which makes sense. I mean, if you want to reboot the franchise, you want to bring in a new voice to play Batman, because Roger Craig Smith and Kevin Conroy, at this point in time, are not involved. RCS basically tweeted a little while ago saying he's not doing it. And Kevin Conroy has been begging for a new Batman game, but it's not Rocksteady who's making it, so WB Games apparently has not approached him. So, not to say Kevin hasn't had work. He's recording, that new Scooby-Doo cartoon, doing the Batman cameo stuff. He's got another thing in the works that involves Batman. It's not a game. I don't know what it is. Might be a DC animated movie. And I thought he had another thing, but not sure. But anyway, let's talk about how I think the story is going to work. The fact that they're showing Court of Owls and Assassins symbols in that tease that WB Games Montreal basically did. My guess is that this is going to be kind of like an adaptation of Batman War Games, which was a comic where Batman was fighting different factions in Gotham after the whole No Man's Land thing, where things happened and Gotham suffered a massive earthquake, and it was a lawless world. I'm not saying there's going to be an earthquake or anything like that, but the idea of like a gang war between different characters is kind of cool. So the fact that they teased the League's thing, and the League could be vying for control. You could have Ra's al Ghul leading one group. You could have Talia leading another group. You could have the Court of Owls being just a side character or an actual threat. But the fact that they showed I don't know why they did that. They could have easily just showed the different factions of the Court of Owls as symbols, but they threw in the League of Assassins, the League of Shadows, the Demon's Head logo. I think it's going to be a war between the League of Assassins and the Court of Owls, and it's going to kind of do the whole War Games thing where you have, instead of Black Mask, you'll have probably, I think the Court of Owls would work for that. You got like the ritzy kind of upper class people that are trying to take over the city and, do some stuff. And then you got Ra's al Ghul and his army of ninjas trying to, I don't know, control Gotham so they can destroy it. Who knows? I mean, I would be fine with just a Court of Owls game. I think that's plenty of story, but the fact that they haven't really done a lot with the League of Assassins and Shadows in Arkham or Batman video game in general is kind of cool. Ra's al Ghul was the main antagonist of Batman Dark Tomorrow, which is a terrible Batman game. I'm just saying it right now. That was written by comic book writers back in the day. It was supposed to be a really good story, and it just somehow got horrible. So just because comic people are involved with a game, it doesn't mean it's going to be a hit. There can be a lot of hits and misses with that. Case in point, Dark Tomorrow, which was drafted by DC Comics writers, and it was kind of an adaptation of Legacy, a little bit, which was a Batman story starring Ra's al Ghul. And Ra's al Ghul, basically Batman unknown, had to stop Ra's al Ghul from flooding the world in the video game. In the comic, he had to deal with like a legacy virus. He had to stop Ra's al Ghul from wiping out half the world's population with a virus. Instead, in Dark Tomorrow, which wasn't even the main plot, it was a subplot that became the main plot. It was just bad writing. You had to stop Ra's al Ghul from flooding the world, and even if you defeated Ra's al Ghul, it had like 3 endings in that game. Batman dies, Batman stops Ra's al Ghul from flooding the world and kills Ra's and escapes, and the other one is you manage to stop the bombs and Ra's kills you. So it's a minor setback because he's able to, get the machine up and running after a few days anyway, and Batman dies. So Yeah. Although, how I play Dark Tomorrow, Batman would die in that because that game's atrocious. So that's my thing with that. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Still waiting for more information. I've emailed some people to see what in the world is WB Games, doing with this. Is it okay to tease this? Is there really a game in development? And at this time, there has been no confirmation from Warner Brothers. None of my WB contacts have replied. It is a weekend. Maybe I'll get something Monday, but when I saw Scott Synder involved, I was just kind of like, okay, this is something that we can run with. When Arkham Videos said he might make a video on this, that's something to consider. And all the smaller Arkham channels, they did something as well today. So, everybody's running with this. May as well give my 2 cents about it, and, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm one of the only ones that's telling you it's probably not going to be Arkham related, though. So I think a lot of them have that wrong, but to each their own, whatever. It's not a big deal. If it's Arkham, cool. That means, Warner Brothers was a little wishy-washy and decided on, just going the route they were going to go. Too afraid to get rid of the Arkham name. But the only problem is, when you keep using the Arkham name and you try to make all these prequel games, it's kind of hard to play in that continuity sandbox, Both companies have kind of messed up their own storyline. Personally, yeah, I would like it to be Arkham. That'd be kind of cool. I'd love to have Robin involved with it, because you can't make a Court of Owls thing without Dick Grayson in it, because his family is connected to the Court of Owls, according to the New 52. Which, let's face it, that's still basically the Batman canon now, so. DC Rebirth just kind of brought back some of the older Batman stories and threw them into the continuity pod of the New 52. And they brought back Wally, and then they did horrible things to Wally. It was supposed to be a rebirth, DC. Why? Why did you do that? Ugh. You can thank Tom King for what he did to Wally, too. Which I'm still not happy about. I haven't punched anybody yet. I need to punch the people. Oh, it feels good. After playing Fortnite, this feels so good. Ow. So yeah, I'm going to open up the floor if you guys got some questions. Like I said, this is a shorter stream tonight. We're not going to be going for 2.5 hours, anything like that. I got a ton of Legend of Zelda videos to edit. I got Fire Emblem videos to edit. I've got some other games I got to work on before they come out. Ow. So I'm a little preoccupied. And it's been a week since I did a Batman video for you guys. I felt terrible, so I figured I'd do a stream. So, yep. Let me get to a comfortable place where I can read some super chats, and I'll answer some of your questions. That sounds great. Why is my grapple not going all the way up? Maybe I'm thinking of a different game where I can use my grapple all the way to the top of a building. Alright. That's a beautiful background. Okay. Oh, let's see. What are your questions? We got a couple. Okay, that's not really a question, but I'll definitely read that super chat. Thank you. Oh, we got a new member. Sam Young, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the channel. We're not going to read that super chat. Thank you for the late nights. I binge-watched your playthroughs in middle school. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for talking about your faith. I can't wait to see you cover the upcoming Bat News. Thank you. Yeah, there'll be a bunch of Bat News this week. Got Titan stuff. I've got the Drake thing that I've been not wanting to talk about. If you guys didn't know more or less what happened, Tim Drake has a new identity in the superhero world, and it's terrible. More or less, they turned him into a duck. And there's too much to go over, so I'm going to save that rant for another time. It's already written. I just haven't had time to make the video yet, and I was mortified. As a fan of Tim Drake, it was horrible what Dido did. They'd be better off just killing the character instead of totally humiliating said character, which is exactly what they did. So way to go, DC. Way to go. Is there any alternate skins you would like to see in the new Batman game that haven't already been adapted? Yeah, there's a couple. I would really like the 90s Batman skin. We've had the 70s Batman skin in the, Arkham games. But the 90s one had a different hue for the blue coloring. It also, the Batman cape kind of had, like, spikes. This was prior to Jean Paul. So Batman had, like, after Jason died, he got a little bit more edgy, and his costume got more pointy and stuff like that. And it was used in circulation in DC for about, we'll say, 4 years. A lot of artists who drew Batman from like 1989 until about 1993, something like that, they had a lot of pointed edges to his cape and stuff like that. So I'd like to see that. It's a nice tribute to the 90s Batman. His blue and gray was also darker, so it wasn't like the 1970s where it was kind of like a, we'll say like more of a midnight blue, a teal look to it. This one was a darker blue, and then of course when Jean Paul became Batman, it was an even darker blue with kind of like this murderous assassin Batman. And I would like to see the Nightfall costume come back, but if they can't bring that one, I would like to see Night's End. Night's End is a different color Batman. It's a red cape and cowl. Similar to the future Batman look, but it's red. It's using more like Crusader colors. Batman's cape is more of like not a what do you call it? It's not like a spandex material or like a, it's not like a cape. It's a kind of like a mech, like a jetpack. It's kind of cool. He only used it for a little bit though. I think the Knight's End Batman looked like that for about maybe 15 issues, something like that, until Bruce Wayne came back and beat him. Another skin I would like, probably, I would like to see some more Elseworld stuff. What I liked about Origins is they did a lot of Elseworld skins. They had the Knights of the Round Batman, which was a really cool Elseworld story. I thought that was a really cool skin. Wanted to see more of that. They really did a great job of having a ton of Elseworld skins for Origins, and I felt that worked out pretty well. But as for like main Batman games, it never really came back. It was kind of like an Origins exclusive, which whatever, that's fine. That was WB Games Montreal thing. Just like the Spider-Man game, though, I would like to see a lot of skins. I wouldn't want them to just be like, okay, these skins appeared in a different game. That doesn't matter, especially if this is like a soft relaunch of the Batman games using the Arkham style. Like, I would like to see 40 costumes. I think that'd be cool. I'd also want really more detective elements, because since that's going to be the focus of the next Batman movies, I want to see more detective-based stuff. Honey.
Sorry.
Don't. Because Matt Reeves' Batman movies are going to be very detective-oriented, like with Batman doing a lot of investigation and stuff like that. So with the next iteration of the Batman games, I want there to be more of a focus on Batman exploring, Batman solving stuff, kind of like what Telltale did, but a little bit different. I actually want to go out into Gotham and do some stuff. I want to come back to a Bat computer and, input the clues I've got and track down the killer responsible for doing stuff. That would be really awesome. I don't know if they'll ever do it, but, with each Batman movie, they change how Batman games work, so it would be cool to see more detective stuff. Mm-hmm. That's fine. Just...
I know. I won't do that.
Oh,
You want to see Batman skins again?
oh yeah, I would want to see, like, if I could bring back certain Batman skins, I would go with the animated series skin. I'd bring that back. I would bring back Nightfall. I would bring back Batman Year One. I'd bring back Batman INC, the Keaton Batsuit. I would love to have that back. That's like one of my favorite skins of all time. Um, I would like the Arkham suit, like either Asylum or City. I think that'd be a nice little throwback to that kind of stuff. Let's see if I can remember all the different skins. I probably would want Flashpoint. Flashpoint was a really cool skin. I would like the... Oh, I know a skin they haven't done. The Red Hood Batman. Like, when Jason Todd became Batman in Battle for the Cowl after Bruce died, he had kind of like a variant of Gene Paul's Batman, like the future Batman, and he also had his own, like, Red Hood-inspired version of Batman. I think that's a cool suit. That'd be cool. I would like Dick Grayson's other bat suit, which would have more blue to it, because the one in this game, it was kind of like his Batman Reborn costume, which was like gray and like lighter gray. I would like to see more of a, blue and black type thing. Wait, there's a little searchlight there? Oh, okay, yeah, that's from that army people. I keep thinking I have to press something down to run. So do you guys have any questions? You want to ask me anything about the, what's happening, what I know, all that fun stuff? What I can say and what I can't? Obviously, I can't tell you what I can't say, but just know that I've been pestering WB Games, not Montreal. I'm not really in that group. I'm closer to Rocksteady and Telltale and some other people have done Batman games. Traveler's Tales. Way Forward. Not so much WB Games Montreal. I've said some pretty colorful things about them the past since 2013, so I'm not really on their radar all that much, which is fine. If I have an issue, I say it. No questions, or did the chat jam up? Might have lost the chat. I'm going to reload it, because it's not working on my end. It's totally frozen. Okay, I see it now. How is Titans? Titans Season 2 is better. Watch it. Do I think DC is rebooting the DC Cinematic Universe? Yes. And it's not just from hearsay. Even Kevin Smith has said this as well, that they are soft rebooting it. The Batman movie is not a continuation of Affleck's story, and it is. You'll have to see the movie to find out. It takes place in the 90s, which is when this Batman was supposed to be younger. However, after Flashpoint, Robert Pattinson, just like Batman basically de-aged a little bit, he'll be de-aging for the next, version of the Justice League. Some Justice Leaguers will be back, like Jason Momoa and Superman, and some other things. Some other characters will be changing. Flash is probably going to be a new actor. Batman is, of course, a new actor. So, I think Cyborg might be back. We don't know. Personally, I hope they get rid of Barry, and they just... Because we already have Barry in the CW, I want a Ginger Wally in the DC Cinematic Universe. Can still do Flashpoint, just have Wally involved. 2 questions. Here we go. Thank you for the super chat. Easier to see. What are your favorite Marvel and DC comic book stories? And what do you think of Joker's look from Mortal Kombat 11? Okay. My favorite DC comic book and Marvel stories? Let's see. For Spider-Man, it would probably be the symbiote, like the whole Venom arc of the 80s. I don't remember the name of it, but that was really cool. And the outcome, of course, was Spidey got the black suit, and then he lost the black suit, and Venom became a staple Spider-Man villain. That was thanks to the 1980s. My favorite Batman stories, probably Hush, No Man's Land. I don't like Nightfall for obvious reasons. Death in the Family is okay. It's not horrible. I like a lot of the Elseworlds, like graphic novel stuff. So, Batman Year One, Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Hush. Although Hush technically is continuity for the modern DC comics in the 2000s. I did like Legacy. I thought Legacy was cool because you had so many different Bat family members fighting Ra's al Ghul all over the world. It was a very short, series, but I liked what it did with Bane and Talia, and how Ra's al Ghul basically had Bane as a trial period to replace Batman as his ideal suitor for his daughter. And of course, it didn't work out well for Bane, but I also liked that series too because Bane gave up taking the Titan drug, and he kind of fought Batman with his own abilities and almost beat Batman without the drugs. So that was kind of cool. Of course, Batman outsmarted him, and he was shunned by the League and Talia. Talia never liked Bane, really, anyway. She was just using him to get to Bruce. And Bane didn't like that and almost killed Talia. But it was a cool story. It lasted, I would say, late 90s, early 2000s. And the Red Hood arc was really good, too, by Jude Winnick. I believe that's his name. And anything by Jeff Johns and Jude was really good for DC. As for what I think about the Mortal Kombat 11 skin, I'll be looking at it because it's Batman related. I've been kind of bad at looking at a lot of different Batman mobile games and things over the years, so I'm going to try to get better since this channel is, well, Batman. So it makes sense that I would do something Batman related like that, so yeah. Not to say that there's more Batman mobile games coming out or anything like that, but you never know. You're going to see a lot of cool Batman stuff happening between 2020 and 2021. That's all I can say. Whether or not it's mobile or video games or television, expect a lot of cool things because WB dropped the ball when it came to Batman's 80th birthday. Because originally, they planned on Ben Affleck's Batman movie actually coming out this year. It was slated for 2019-2020 at the latest. And that didn't work out, so, they had to reboot everything. Because they actually did have a plan. They had a plan for the 80th birthday of Batman. They were going to announce their new video game. They were going to have Ben Affleck's first movie in his trilogy come out. And this was stuff that was all planned years ago. And sometimes plans just don't work out. Justice League reception wasn't good enough. Affleck wanted out. They had to bring in a new actor for Batman, new director, new script, new everything. The original Batman movie was going to be an adaptation of the Arkham games, which maybe some people don't like that, some people do. Personally, I think it would have been kind of cool. It was going to be a low-budget Batman movie taking place in Arkham Asylum. I don't know if the Joker was going to be involved in it, but the Penguin was going to be in that movie, Killer Croc, bunch of characters that ended up appearing in the Suicide Squad. A lot of stuff. But, of course, it never happened, so. What I'm hopeful for, one of these days, that someone at DC is like, you know what? We have a really great opportunity to take these cool script ideas and turn them into an Elseworlds comic. And that way, people that want to, get some closure with the whole Affleck story, you could get a comic book based on his movie. I think that'd be kind of cool. But, not going to happen. It'd just be cool. So with DC's plans all kind of squashed, they had to scramble and try to figure out what they were going to do with their DC Cinematic Universe, with their games. So, between 2020 and 2021, Batman people are going to be happy. If Warner Brothers told me I'm going to be happy those 2 years, Lord willing, I'm still alive, yeah, the Bat is going to make a comeback in all kinds of media. So be prepared for that. The only exciting thing game-wise that happened for Batman this year was Fortnite, and to me, that's not really good enough, you know? Not knocking Fortnite or anything like that. I'm just saying, I don't think that's the... It's nice. It's kind of cool, you know, but I would have wanted something else. Something bigger. But that's just me. In terms of movies, for Batman's 80th birthday, there were a lot of cool things that happened this year, don't get me wrong. The Turtles crossover was pretty cool. Batman Hush was meh. Wasn't one of their worst movies, but it's okay. I wanted better, but oh well. I know, I'm being lazy. I haven't had time to post my review of that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have the voiceover done. I don't like just half releasing, you know, stuff that's just not to my gold standard, but I can't really get to my gold standard because I can't edit. I'm too busy with my LP channel. Daily. Thanks, YouTube, for that. But I'm not going to rant about YouTube tonight. I don't want to. I do that enough. Any other questions? Because we've got about 15 minutes left of the stream. I'm gonna get you. Wow. Wow, that's just sad. Based on the popularity of the DC Metal and the DC Black Label, is that what you're asking? Do I think those would be skins in a Batman game? Oh, absolutely. I think that the Batman Who Laughs will make it as a skin in one of the games. I could see that as being an exclusive for Sony or Microsoft, though. That's a really disturbing thing. I mean, personally, if I was Warner Brothers 2, one of the things that they could have done this year that would have been a great idea, and I don't know why they didn't do it, was release a Arkham collection on the Switch. Arkham Asylum and Arkham City for the Switch. I don't know why they didn't do that, but they could have. That would have been easy money. Same thing with a Lego Batman collection, but no, why make money? They even re-released Lego Jurassic Park, of all things. Why? I mean, I know, I just looked at it for Warner Brothers recently, but it's just kind of like... Even I asked my rep, it's like, why not the Lego Batman collection? What are you waiting for? The year's almost over. It's also been 10 years since the first Lego Batman game. Why? Why not? What reason? You do Lego Harry Potter and Lego Jurassic Park, but not... That doesn't make any sense to me. Those games weren't even that popular. If you could remake Batman Hush, would it be live action or animated? It would be animated, and it would be in the style of Jim Lee's art. That's one of the biggest problems of that movie, is they didn't highlight Jim Lee's artwork. That is the biggest sin that a lot of people have with that movie. They had one job, and they botched it badly. It also should have been an Elseworlds film. It shouldn't have been in continuity with the horrible DC New 52 animated films. It should have been its own Elseworlds story, like the Ninja Turtles movie and some of the other stuff. And it should have used Jim's art. And it should have had Hush as the... Never mind! They ruined Hush. They ruined Hush with the guy behind the bandages. They ruined Tommy. And they ruined a future movie, The Heart of Hush, which is actually more of an interesting story, and they could do, considering what happened with Batman and Catwoman in the movie. That would be a nice way for the characters to kind of interact together again. But nope, 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 nope. They didn't do that. No, they never do that. They like to be artistic and edgy. Actually, the Hush movie didn't sell that well, so if they wanted money, then they would have done it the correct way. They would have adapted it. Actually, you know what? Most of the adaptation of Hush is actually pretty good. It's the last arc that it falls to pieces. That's when the movie fails. Before then, it actually does really, really well. It's like DC Animated, the same thing with The Killing Joke. The Killing Joke started badly, but finished good. Hush starts good and finishes badly. So it's like they can't come in the middle, or, you know, they can only do it halfway. You know what I mean? Judas Contract, they did pretty good with that. They did. That's actually a really good adaptation of a great story of the Titans with new characters. And, you know, it was handled pretty well. It was a little different, but, you know, they kept to the format of that story, and it worked. It sold well. It made comic book fans happy. No problems. You know? But the recent films, Killing Joke, Batman Bad Blood, and even Hush, they just dropped the ball. Either at the beginning of the movie, the end of the movie, or the middle of the movie, there's always parts of the movie that are bad. And they don't have to be. You know? They just don't. Whoops. Which Batman villains would I like to see show up for side missions in a next Batman game? I would probably like Rabbit. I think she's a fun character. I would like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I think that would be kind of fun. Ratcatcher. Condiment King. I would like a hilarious thing. We haven't seen a lot of humor in Batman games, so, you know, one of the first missions, side missions I would like is Batman is in the Batmobile patrolling, and he gets an alert that this person is, like, you know, hijacked a bunch of, we'll say, people on a yacht. And Batman doesn't know who he's up against, so he comes in, guns a-blazing, and, like, really mutilates the Condiment King. But in a way that's just kind of funny. And in my Batman game, I would have to bring Kevin back, because Kevin is Batman. Not that I wouldn't want Bruce Greenwood to do the role or something, but I do not want, I'm saying this right now, do not get the guy from the New 52 films to be in a Batman video game doing the voice. No. No, 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 no. That guy has the most boring Batman voice of all time. He did better in Hush, but it took him almost 13 films to do a decent Batman voice. That is not acceptable. So, if... The only reason I'm bringing this up is because when they've been talking about the next Batman actors to be in the video games, his name popped up in the hat. And I don't like that idea. I'd be okay with Diedrich Bader coming back again because he's in that new, like, R-rated Batman animated Harley Quinn thing. You know, he can kind of do, like, a video game Batman. But for me, there's no reason not to bring Kevin or Roger back, you know? But it was kind of disheartening to hear that Roger isn't involved with the next Batman game. Unless his tweets are to be, you know, considered factual or just like he's trying to shake people off his trail. I don't know. I mean, I gave him a hard time when he first started, but his Batman voice, it's gotten a lot better over the years, and he's done a lot of different Batman multiverse stuff. He was in a show called Batman Unlimited, where he played Batman. It was kind of like a 4Kids cartoon in this futuristic Gotham City, but I felt like he did a good job in that. You know, it was okay. Bruce Greenwood, he would do good. I loved him in the Under the Red Hood movie, and he's really good in Young Justice. So, yeah, he's probably my number 2 favorite Batman voice actor. Number 1 is Kevin, and then the guy who I would pick if Kevin's not available is Bruce. Because his Batman voice, what I like about it is it adds, like, age to the character. Like, Bruce's Batman voice is very weathered. He's older, you know? Troy Baker's my number 3. I would be happy with either one of those guys. Diedrich, he's okay, but it always sounds like he's trying to do, like, kind of like the movie Batman. And when I mean movie Batman, I mean, like, he's trying to do, like, the Val Kilmer / like, Adam West Batman voice. Which I know that's what he was trying to do. Like, this over-exaggerated, straight-laced, goofy, not goofy Batman voice for Batman Brave and the Bold. But from what I've heard of his voice, from the clips that I've seen, some that have been released, some that have been unreleased, I mean, it sounds like he's doing, like, a more edgy Batman Brave and the Bold voice. You know? So. And I don't know. I guess it'll work for that new Harley Quinn cartoon, but to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to watch it all that much, because I'm really not into gore. I'm surprised that it's just getting an R rated, because, like, people's heads and limbs and body parts are going to be blown off. It's a very, very gruesome, dark comedy. I mean, it's fitting for Harley Quinn and all that, and they're doing that to hype up the Suicide Squad movie, but... Yeah, Jason is a terrible Batman voice actor. I don't like that rumor. That rumor needs to die, and nobody for their next Batman game needs to consider him. Troy would be cheaper, Troy would be better, and, you know, some other actors. Bruce would be good too, but it depends what kind of Batman they're going for. You know, if they're going for an older, weathered Batman, then that makes sense, but if they're going for a younger Batman, then get Troy. Troy or Roger would work fine. You know? Alright, guys, I'm going to take about 5 more questions about the topic at hand, and then we'll reconvene later this week talking about Titans, and I will have an uploaded video of the Drake. The Drake! Yeah! No. 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 What ruined the New 52 for me? Oh! I said this is only going to be an hour stream, guys. That would take too long. That would be a 3-hour stream.
Name one good thing about the New 52.
One good thing about the New 52 was the Court of Owls. The bad thing about the New 52 is it retconned pretty much all the great Batman stories and characters, and then they frantically tried to fix it over the next 3 years. And DC Rebirth is part of the reason they were able to fix that. They brought in Spoiler again. They brought back Cassandra. They brought back Azrael.
They brought back the Drake.
Tim Drake. And then they made him the Drake. Never mind. You know, DC Rebirth is better, but it's not better than the pre-52. The pre-52 storylines were better. The open, like, DC world that they had with all the different characters knowing each other and interacting, and they had this rich history that they could work with was better. There's way too much to hate about the New 52. I also didn't like Zero Year. There's nothing wrong with Batman Year 1. In fact, now we don't even know what happened with the whole DC Rebirth thing, because 0 Year happened, but so did Batman Year 1 now? It doesn't make any sense. So it's like DC is frantically trying to appease everybody, but still ruining everything. You can't have Batman Year 1 work and 0 Year also happen. It doesn't... You have to pick. Did Batman start in 0 Year, or did he start in Year 1? You can't combine the two because they don't work. And that's what they did. You know? No, I don't think Joker should be in the next Batman game. We don't need Joker anymore. If it's a Court of Owls game, focus on the Court of Owls. Focus on Dick Grayson's history. Don't bring out the Joker until a later game in the franchise. You don't need to. Flesh out more of Black Mask. You want Black Mask to be a side character? Cool. Make him a side character and then give him a bigger role in the next game. You could introduce a character as a side character in the Court of Owls game, if that's true, and then have that character be the main bad guy of the sequel game. It's called building a world. You don't need to have the Joker here and then make the Joker later as a hallucination. I really feel the reason that Joker was a hallucination in Arkham Knight is because they couldn't get a good writer to do this game. They had a great idea with the Arkham Knight and the Scarecrow, but they just couldn't quite do it without Joker because they couldn't get Dini back and they couldn't get some other Batman writers. They were all busy. So that to me, it just, yes, the psychological aspect was cool in a sense, but then they basically did the same thing with the Batman VR game. It's like, okay. Who would I want to see as the main villain in the next Batman game? Hush. They were building up Hush in Arkham City, and then they dropped the ball. Hush is a serious threat. He is able to get all the Batman rogues to work together. He's able to get dirt on all the Batman villains to basically blackmail them to work for him. He is a very, very good villain that has not been utilized well in the games or in the animated universe. He is a threat. He is dangerous. But you don't need him in a Court of Owls game. Focus on the Court of Owls. The Court of Owls are dangerous. They've got zombies, ninjas. They've got Talon, who is almost as skilled as Batman and a serious threat, and someone that could be screwing with you the entire game. Yes, you could have Gotham rogues in like Two-Face and Penguin and Scarecrow and Tweedledee and Tweedledum and Rabbit and some other people like running around a vast Gotham City, but they don't need to be the focus. If the focus is the Court of Owls and the League of Assassins, make that the primary focus of the game. Don't just make them, okay, we know that the name of the game is called Beware the Court of Owls, supposedly, but the Court of Owls aren't going to play a big role in the game. Do not do that. That would be bad. What you need to do is focus on the court, use Scott Snyder's work to the letter, use the tragedy involved with the Graysons. In fact, have him be Robin. Don't have him be Nightwing. You want to make it more interesting? Do the whole Batman versus Robin movie, but make it Dick Grayson versus Batman and being, like, confused by the court because his grandfather is Talon or a Talon. You know, really mess with the emotional aspect of the Batman and Robin relationship and put the court involved with that. That's something that Snyder did kind of well, even though Grayson felt like a side character sometimes in the whole, you know, spanning story of the Court of Owls. Get the Bat family involved more with it, even if it's a, you know, year 3, year 4 Batman story. Have Dick Grayson as Robin, make Batgirl Babs, you know, maybe have like Lady Shiva and Katana and some other characters. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff they could play with if they do it right. But all we know is, you know, Court of Owls are involved, League of Assassins is potentially involved, and Scott Snyder may or may not be involved. He could also just be doing that tweet to be like, okay, this is happening. This is based on something I created, and I'm super excited, but I really think that he has a hand in it. You know? He could be a consultant on it like Dini was for Arkham City. Yes, technically Dini wrote most of City, but he acted as more of a consulting role, whereas in Arkham Asylum, he wrote the whole game. So, you know. Arkham Origins needs to be remastered. It didn't sell enough for it to be remastered. I hate to tell you guys that, but it's the lowest selling Arkham game of all time. It was okay, but Blackgate and Origins just did not do well. They didn't have the reception, and they're never going to get a remake. This would have been the year to do it. This would have been the year to port it again and try to sell it, but, you know, Warner Brothers knows that a lot of people don't like it. That's why they keep doing collections of Arkham City and Asylum and Knight and packing those all into a game, because They did better. I mean, those are the facts, people. How would I have done Origins? Very different. I would have set Batman's time like 20 years in the past, and I would have built up an entire franchise of Arkham Origins stories. I would have had like a 3-game trilogy. Origins, I would have had probably... I don't know what I would call the second game. Second game, maybe I'd have the Court of Owls involved. And the third game would be probably like... I don't know what I would do. Something with Bane. I wouldn't have had Bane in Origins at all. Like, Bane I would have saved for a later game. Because I don't like the idea of him showing up and just being kind of like a side character in Joker's circus. That to me was stupid. Bane is another character that deserves his own game. He's not just a stupid moron that, you know, is pumped up on drugs. He's a cold, calculating killer that's a very serious problem that Batman has to contend with. So I would have Bane as a game. So it would, my trilogy would have been Origins with the introduction of Joker and Black Mask. Leave that as, take Bane out of it. Have Bane be the focus of the third game, and have the Court of Owls or another enemy as the focus of the second game. And the second game would introduce Robin. The third game would introduce Tim Drake. And it would be a time skip of like 6 years, 7 years, something like that. So Origins is Batman Year 2. Arkham Origins 2 would be Batman Year 3. And then Arkham Origins 3 would basically be Nightfall about 7 years after my second game. Which would, you know, work with the whole Arkham Asylum thing being 5 or 6 years later. That's what I would do. And then... after I did that trilogy, I'd probably do a Batman Beyond game or a Batman Superman game. I don't know. Any other questions, guys? Because I'm getting past the time that I said I was going to stop. Out of all the Arkham games, which had the best story? Probably City was the best in terms of story. I really like Dini's work on that. Did I like The Dark Knight Rises? It was okay. I liked Batman Begins better than The Dark Knight Rises, but that's just me. How would I do Batman Beyond? Be 25-year time skip from the last Batman game that I did. Bruce Wayne would be in his 80s, and Terry McGinnis would stumble into the Batcave, find all that other stuff. There would still be some superheroes active, like Nightwing would still be around, but he'd be in his 50s. I'd have Batman, since Batman can fly, it wouldn't be just the entire game taking place in Neo Gotham. He would go to Bloodhaven, he would probably go to Metropolis. You know, I would open up the DC world a little bit more with that futuristic thing. And I would get Lauren Lester back as Nightwing to play like an older, futuristic Dick Grayson. That'd be kind of cool. What would I do for the next Lego game? I'd have the Anti-Monitor. I'd do Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's what I would do for the next Lego game, which I believe that's what they're doing, but they're not going to make an official announcement for a few more years because they're still working on it, from what I hear. They teased it, but they're not ready. Star Wars is the next game. Who's more dangerous, Joker or Bane? They both are. Bane attacks Batman on a psychological level, knowing who he is, being able to get to his family, and Joker may or may not know who Batman is, and is just completely unpredictable, and Batman has almost been killed by the Joker countless times, whereas Bane basically could easily get to Bruce Wayne and, you know, get to Batman when his guard's down. Joker just... Sometimes Batman doesn't expect Joker to do the kind of stuff he does because he's completely unpredictable. But both have almost killed Batman several times. Would I rather have a Red Hood solo game? Not yet. And I don't think it's enough time for a Nightwing game. You would have to have a Nightwing movie before Warner Brothers ever considers a Nightwing spin-off game. That's just the sad truth. When a when a Nightwing movie comes out, then we can talk about a Nightwing video game, because that would be very, very plausible. You have to have a movie first. I'm surprised Aquaman doesn't have a movie after he made $1 billion, personally.
I mean a game.
Yeah, sorry. I'm surprised he doesn't have a game. I'm getting tired, guys. Alright, I'd say that is a successful stream. We did about an hour. Like I said, I got a lot of work to do, so I can't stick around, unfortunately, tonight and just keep talking about stuff. But just to recap, those of you that, might just be joining the stream. So, they pretty much teased something. WB Games Montreal on Batman Day, which was yesterday, they had a bat symbol on their building, and then they showed 4 or 5 different symbols. These symbols are known for being connected to the League of Assassins, Shadows, and the Court of Owls. Scott Synder tweeted about Beware the Court of Owls in response to, I believe, WB Game Montreal's post, which is hinting his involvement in said game. There is a PlayStation event happening on the 24th, and a Video Game Awards in December, where the game could be announced either there at the PlayStation event for a 2020 or 2020 release, or it could be announced at the Video Game Awards. It is highly likely, because of the Batman casting news that's going to be dropping either the end of this month or in October, that they are going to be pushing marketing for the next Batman game within the next probably 2 to 3 months. So by the end of the year, we could get an official announcement. It's highly likely now that WB Games Montreal did that post, and other people involved with the project supposedly are also talking about it to some extent. Nothing major, but that's all we have. I just thought I would come on and tell you guys what was going on, and then you guys asked me a bunch of questions, what I would want in the game, things that would work, things that wouldn't, all that fun stuff. So if you want to go back, watch the stream, cool. Later this week, we have a video on the Drake, which is Tim Drake's new costumed identity for Young Justice. You can thank Bendis for that. No thank you, Bendis. We'll be talking about some of the Batman comics that released this summer in kind of like a combined lore video, talking about Tom King's run, and the death of Alfred, and the Titans recap for episodes 1 through 3. But anyway, people, that's it. That's all. That's the video. God bless. Happy gaming. Thanks so much for watching, Gothamites. There's a Fortnite Batman stream that I did. If you guys want to go watch it over on my Let's Play channel, it happened. There'll be another Fortnite Batman stream tomorrow on that channel. If you want to go watch that, cool. If not, don't worry about it. It's Fortnite. don't worry about it. And yeah. Reviews of Batman Hush and Ninja Turtles will be up before the end of the year, but they'll probably be just podcasts because I don't have any time. I'm going to be starting my next big game next week, which is Dragon Quest XI. Even though I'm more or less done with Fire Emblem, that took me since July, I am starting Dragon Quest XI, and I have some short games that I'll be doing. Ghostbusters Remake, which is awesome for the Switch. I'll be doing that October 4th or October 3rd. And, yeah, pretty much every game under the sun that you can think of. My Let's Play channel is called Kwing's Let's Plays, and I look at all the new releases, mostly. So that's why I don't really come on this channel very often, because this channel is Batman. Yeah, there's a lot of Batman-related stuff to talk about, but, keep an eye out in the sky for the Bat Signal. Again, 20 through 2021, a lot of major things are happening. Things I cannot talk about other than hinting that, possible animated series, new movies, new video games, new things involved with Batman, and I can tell you this, which I don't know how to feel about this, but a new Batman will be taking over for Bruce Wayne in 2021. It is more or less confirmed now that a new person will be Batman. It's not Bruce Wayne, it's not a remake, it's not a reboot, there is a new Batman. I don't know if it's going to be Luke Fox, The only thing we know that is concrete is he will be African American. It is going to be basically another Nightfall thing. We don't know if Bruce Wayne is going to die or if he and Catwoman are just going to go somewhere. So 2021, new Batman. 2020 is going to be all about Batman and Catwoman.
Oh my gosh, it has to be Luke Fox.
It has to be Luke Fox. I want it to be Luke, personally. But he will be called Batman. And we don't know who's going to be under the cowl, but that's what's going to happen. DC is super woke, and, if they do this, I want it to be Lucius. Or not Lucius. I want Luke Fox.
He never has enough storylines written about him.
I have heard that it's going to be temporary, though, so it's only going to be like a 2 or 3 year thing, and Bruce will come back, or Dick Grayson will take over. But the reason why it's going to happen is something's going to happen to Bruce Wayne at the end of 2020.
But he deserves it way more than Batwoman.
No, Batwoman we don't. No, it has nothing to do with that.
Oh, okay.
But Kevin Smith talked about this and some other people. I'm going to make a dedicated video. I want to get some more info about it. But yes, it's a limited run thing. They're going to bring Bruce back. He's going to go through some, because Tom King is going to run this guy through the ringer. I think he's going to go insane, or Catwoman is going to end up being killed. It sounds like Catwoman and Batman are going to get married next year. Something's going to happen where Bruce is going to give up the mantle, and a different Batman's going to come forward. Right now, unfortunately, Dick Grayson is unable to reclaim the mantle because he doesn't even know who he is. He is going to be Rick Grayson for another 6 months. Nightwing is coming back in 2020. That is official. There's going to be a new creative team. I don't know anything other than that. I stopped reading the books. I was told that Dick Grayson will be back as Nightwing. Either January 2020 is when it will be teased, or in the spring he'll be donning. I don't know what's going to happen to Rick, but I do know that Nightwing as Grayson is happening again. Dan Jargon has been putting in the legwork. He's had a lot of stuff he's had to fix, but it is happening. But I don't know if he's going to be called Rick or not. I just know that he's going to be Nightwing again. I've seen the costume. It kind of looks like the Injustice costume / Arkham Knight, but it's still kind of cool. So anyway, people, that's it. Lots of Batman stuff coming your way. Have a great night, and thanks for watching my stream. It was so cool to see about, I don't know, over a few hundred of you guys, something like that. So thanks. Appreciate the super chats. And have a great night. Lots of great Batman stuff happening next 3 years. Peace!